You probably associate GardenFork and sauerkraut fermentation with some country setting, right? But my point for this video is that you can make sauerkraut wherever you are with whatever you got. So this is one of those use what you got, use what you can get fermentation videos making sauerkraut, which is super simple. Even I can do it. Ready? Here we go. Make, fix, grow, cook. GardenFork. You can get your cabbage at a farmer's market, at your corner deli, at your grocery store, but we're gonna get it right here. Okay, this is wicked simple sauerkraut. All you need is a small head, maybe not even a whole head, of green cabbage. You could use red. I think green works better for this. And some carrots. This is more carrots than you need, but a certain yellow Labrador loves carrots. You want to go get the squirrel? No, the phone's ringing. Maybe you should go get the squirrel. Go. I can only do 2 of these. So to make this, you need a fermentation container. There's all sorts of them. We've shown a bunch of them. I have a fermentation crock. I'll link to that in the notes below the video here. Because this is my super simple one, I'm all about use what you got, and this time we're gonna use a plastic yogurt container. If you have a big mason jar with a wide rim or like a mayonnaise jar or something, go for it. But for the use what you got kind of world, which is what we're starting with, and this is really me about getting people to try and make something fermented, this is a food grade plastic container. It's only going to be in here a couple of weeks, and then I'm going to take the lid and trim it down a little bit so it's a floating lid within this, okay? So we have a container, we have cabbage, and we have carrots, a little bit of salt, and the other thing we need is a food processor. Super simple here. I'm just going to take this puppy, cut it in half. I think we need our knife sharpened a little bit. And I cut in the quarters, and I'm cutting through this stem, and there's a reason for that, okay? So this goes like this. I want to get the knife through that stem, like that. Then I'm going to take my knife, put this flat down here, and cut out that tough core. Now, I think a certain canine likes these things. Let's see. I wash my hands, okay? All right, so we have the core out, and now I just want to cut it into pieces that'll fit into my food processor, okay? For your carrots, just leave them whole, and I just cut the little tips off. My food processor is a little bit of an older model. I'm going to link below to a new model that's on my wish list. If you would consider supporting GardenFork, any of the links below are affiliate links. We get a little finder's fee if you go shopping using those. I really appreciate that. Talk about knives, food processors, tea. A little Twin Peaks reference there. Right. So this is a half of a, what was it, like a medium, smallish cabbage head. And 2 carrots. We're going to grind this up and see how it goes. The other ingredient you need is salt. Now, GardenFork's all about use what you got. I use a kosher salt. If you use a finer salt or table salt, which is even finer, there's more salt in the same dry measurement. So I'm going to use about a tablespoon of a kosher salt. If you're using this kind of grinder or a table salt, use less, okay? Okay, the grinder grating, the largest grating disc you have, goes in there. Like I said, I could use a new food processor, everybody. Okay, that's a good amount of slaw. Now we're going to throw in the carrots. So we've got carrot on the top, cabbage on the bottom. We need to mix this together now and add some of the salt. What we're doing by cutting up the cabbage leaves is exposing the interior cells. We're breaking open those cells, and some of the water is going to come out of there. And also on the cabbage itself is the starter to start fermentation. It's really kind of cool. It's just there naturally. So you can use your, what's this thing called? Food processor with the grater attachment. If you don't have one, or you just want to work, you can use a box grater or like a mandolin, or chop it up with your knife. The finer the slaw, the faster it's going to start fermenting, and I just kind of like that. But I like the texture of the two. With a knife, I don't know, you can get it as fine, but you can chop it up, use what you got, and do what you like, you know? So we need to mix together, what was that? Oh, I don't know. We want to mix the cabbage and the carrot so the carrot's distributed within the wow, that's a lot of cabbage. But that's okay. So to this, I'm going to add about a tablespoon of salt. Clean hands. And you want to mix the salt into this. You know, you could probably, as you're grinding these in the food processor, you could be adding in the salt slowly as well, and that way the salt is incorporated. I don't know if you can see it, but this is already starting to exude juice. Can you see that? You can see that kind of glistening, but that's a good thing. We want some liquid to come out of the leaves, the cabbage leaves and the carrot, work with the salt to create a protective brine. So what is a brine? It's usually a solution of water and salt, and it has a ability to repel, or I don't know if the word is repel. Basically, it will promote good organisms to ferment, and the bad organisms, the one that create that kind of black mold on top of stuff, it thwarts that kind of organism. So it's a beautiful thing. And hitting that sweet spot of salt with liquid is not rocket science. Again, about a tablespoon for about that much. And additionally, if when we're making this doesn't put out enough brine while we're making it, you can add in some filtered water or not. Water doesn't have chlorine, basically. If you're on a spring, you don't have a problem. If you're city water, get filtered water or whatever. With a little bit of salt in it. I'll put the recipe down below for that brine. And you add that to this, and you're like kind of jump starting it. But this one, you'd be surprised, in a couple hours, this will be making quite a bit of brine. Because we've chopped this so fine, a lot of the cell wall's been exposed. The water's going to come out of that cell wall, work with the salt. It's a good thing. Okay, our controversial container, and we're going to put this in here. Is there an elegant way to do this? No. So we're just going to push it in. Again, if you have a glass jar, use what you got. Wow, this is more than I thought I needed. But then, you know, if you have too much, you don't know what to do, you could make coleslaw out of it, you know? You want to pack this down, because pushing it down also helps it exude more liquid out of the cell walls of the leaves, interacting with the salt and the organisms that are on the leaf already. Oh, it's all going to fit. Okay. To create the brine. I just want to press that down. I don't know if you can hear it, but there is water coming out of there. It's already getting liquid to form the brine, which is a good thing. So in today's edition of the Book Corner, if you're interested in learning about fermentation, I have two really good books, and I know both of the authors. This is Daniel and this is Leda. They've both been on the GardenFork Radio podcast. I'll link in the text below the video to listen to those podcasts if you want. Just two different views on the same thing. Both have a neat sense of humor about it. Simple, attainable, easy. Daniel has some interesting tips about how he does it, and Leda has a breadth of a couple things I would have never thought about fermenting. So this is kind of the gateway to fermentation, coleslaw, even though it's in plastic. Don't tell anyone. But I'll link below for these, okay? So you want to cut down the lid from this because you need something to kind of push the cabbage and carrot below the brine level. I found it kind of floats sometimes. So you want to take your lid and make it, ooh, that was elegant, smaller than the interior diameter of your yogurt container. That works. And then this will go on here. And then you want to put some kind of weight, maybe a coffee cup. That works just fine. But what I found in my cabinet was a ramekin. Is that what this is called? Those little ceramic bowls. And this, you don't even need the plastic lid. This just goes like that, and that'll hold this all down to start the initial brining. The goal here is to have the brine, the salty water, above the cabbage and the carrot, okay? So can you hear that? Maybe not, but it's definitely exuding liquid. So during the week of fermentation, and this is going to go into a cool area, we're going to take a paper towel and just rubber band around the top of it like that. Okay, we're ready to go here. Now we're ready for fermentation. We don't want to keep it in a place that gets a lot of sunlight. It's better in a cool corner of your kitchen. So this is the next day. It's about 24 hours later. One-handed with the camera here. Wow, look at all that. And look at the bubbles here. How cool is that? The bubbles that are coming out are a good sign. That means that the fermentation process has started. It smells like sauerkraut. Anyway, I'm just kind of excited that you can take cabbage, salt, and carrot, mix it all together in your failing food processor. Sorry. And boom, a day later, you've got this. I don't think this is going to overflow. The brine's not, so maybe you don't need the bowl, but do it anyway just in case, you know, worse things have happened. And just let it ka-chunk along for a week and then put it in the fridge. If you like it stronger, you can let it go longer. That was kind of a rhyme, wasn't it? All right, right here should be some videos about other fermentation stuff we've done, current videos, and I'll link below the video here to my interview with Sandor Katz, who is like the big daddy of fermentation on the GardenFork Radio podcast. All right, so as always, make it a great day. I'll see you later.